Jenny McCarthy Show.
Oh! That's right. I'm so excited. She's one of my favorites, as you guys know. Dorinda Medley, welcome to my show.
I can't believe you picked me.
I do.
There's not many people I come in on a rainy day for.
Let me tell you.
I dashed in.
I said that. I go, you know what? She must like me. She must really, really like me for to come here on such a shitty day. And I appreciate The Real Housewives of New York tonight, 9 o'clock on Bravo. What year is this? What year?
4. So we're going into my 5th year. But you know what? I think of myself somewhat as an OG.
I think so, too.
I've got, you know why I have that OG aura? Because remember, I'm always in the background in the past seasons.
Well, I was going to ask you this because I remember I did don't ask me why, I went from season 1 to the present in like a 2-month period just for fun.
Wow.
And I noticed you in the background at Jill's daughter's party.
Anti-bullying party.
And I was like, wait a minute, that's fucking Dorinda.
That's me, and I've been in a couple episodes. I had my whole Mrs. Medley look on back then. Did you notice?
Yes,
I was
you did.
very grown up. I was very growing up. Very Upper East Side lady.
You were, but I've always enjoyed your clothes. Like you've got good taste.
Well, I got to tell you what I'm doing today. After this, I got the real coming and literally taking my whole closet away.
I was going to ask you about that.
Reboot.
Real is what's threadup.com? Does that have anything to do with it?
The what?
You're doing something with a charity.
Oh, Threads Up.
Yep.
That's amazing. What you do is they come and you take some of your iconic pieces that have little stories, and then a bunch of other stuff, and then they make money off it, and then it goes to a charity.
That's
I mean, we don't
really
need to
nice
make money off of our clothes. So I'm always trying to figure out. Listen, we all like to make the coin.
Yes, of course.
Let's not lie. But it's also great that we have this opportunity to use this platform to make money for
100%.
charities. It's so easy.
Yep.
I mean, I sold Luann's bridesmaid's dress.
What? No, you didn't.
I did.
For how much?
Oh, it was after they had to break up. So I thought, honey, I think I know it was sort of a moral dilemma. But here's the good news. I did it for the Alan Forney Center,
Okay.
LGBTQ.
Do you know how much it raised though?
Yeah, it raised a lot of money. I think it raised like 5 in the end, and it's in someone's
100?
No,
5,000.
Yeah.
Really, someone paid $5,000?
Yeah, and it's sitting in some fabulous gay man's house in the Midwest. He's got it on a mannequin, so I love it.
I got to start selling some clothes.
It's
I feel like I
good.
have much money. It is good, but I totally keep the money. I'm doing enough for charities already.
Give 10%.
I'm joking. How's John?
John's great. Someone asked me the other day, is John ever going to be on the show again? I said, yes. I actually think, I'm hoping if I'm on this season,
you will be.
I hope so.
Yes, you will be.
That he comes on more. I personally made the decision to not have him on as much because you know what? Everybody was so focused on him, I couldn't develop myself. And I am such a mother. I'm like, stop doing that. Don't touch that. Don't do this. Please say that. Put a bib on. Stand up straight. I mean, I couldn't stop myself.
Right.
And then, the girls just had a field day with him.
They did.
And he's the nicest man ever. You met him.
Of course. I think he's a great guy. He's very, very nice. But then, Dorinda, looking at it now, he got to be kind of, he took the heat.
Yes.
But now the heat.
And he brought the heat on him, too.
Now the heat got transferred to you. So it was kind of like a good thing and a bad thing.
Absolutely. And you know what? It could have really, I always say, by the grace of God, it could have really hurt us. But, I always believe the audience is smart and truth will always prevail. So I just kept consistently being myself, waking up in the morning. Good morning, everybody. It's Dorinda Medley. I'm on my way to the park. Blah, blah. So people were like, hey, wait a second. If she's this freak, how can she be, I would look like a freak. I'd act like a freak.
You're not a freak.
So I just sort of consistently pulled back a little bit, and it all works out.
Has this season been what you expected?
It never is what you expect.
It isn't.
You go into it thinking, why are people watching us? We're so boring. I have nothing to give. Really? You want me back? I mean, especially when you have that first meeting with the producers. So tell us. It's the most awful thing. It's like, tell me about yourself. Tell us what's going on in your life. You're like, well, I'm a loser. Nothing.
So that's where...
Same old bullshit.
Do they have to create stories?
No. What happens is, what I've realized after being on it for so many years, we are just wacky people with wacky, interesting lives. I mean, I had a moment the other day with Hannah where I was thinking if the cameras were rolling, people would like be hysterical because I just think we're sort of very wacky.
And you're the most authentic group, I think, out of all of
so.
them.
And by the way, it's no different off camera. I have things with Ramona sometimes. I'm like, what are you doing? You can't talk like that.
Who do you talk to the most off season?
I talk to Carole a lot. I talk to Ramona a ton. Ramona's been my friend over 20 years.
I know. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, and people don't, people are always like this and that. But Ramona is, let me tell you, when the chips are down, you want Ramona Singer on your side.
I would totally agree. You saw her come to Bethenny's side and people's side when shit hits the fan. Let's get into Carole for a moment.
Go ahead.
Because I've been dying to get Carole in here.
Well, she'll come.
She can't. She's always like, the scheduling's always off.
Go through me. I'll be her agent.
It was interesting to watch Bethenny not have her wingman this season and to kind of be alone on an island.
I don't know, but it wasn't. See, here's the thing, and I don't want to go. Listen, I always say I hate to talk about other people's relationships. I just like to talk about me. But I don't know if it unfolded in this bizarre way that Carole didn't even know what was going on. So it was sort of an after the fact thing. She's watching the show after the fact saying, really? Because she didn't realize, and you watch me in the beginning because I'm doing a lot of filming with Bethenny. I'm like, you're staying with her in the Hamptons. Meanwhile, I already know she's not. So I'm sitting, it didn't connect for Carole, I think, fully until after the show what was really going on.
I did notice that you would be the delivery. I know. Did you watch it back and go, God, why am I passing that information?
Because you know what? Here's the thing. There's a couple things. If you say it, on the show, you can say it.
I love that you do.
Okay. And second of all, it's the truth. And not only that, half the time, like when people are like, well, why? When Bethenny was like, I can't believe you told people that I wasn't happy in Cartagena. Really? It's like saying, I can't believe you think I'm a clown and then the person's in a clown suit. She was walking around miserable, and I am just very much a truth teller. I'm like, no, she's not. I'm not a fairies and fluff ball person. But I'm sorry. I'm going to do better not to do that because it does hurt people's feelings, I think. But what fun's that going to be?
Oh, exactly. I felt like, you did a good job.
My delivery's kind.
Uh-huh. And you keep the story moving, and someone's got to tell them, and eventually they're going to find out, so why not it be you?
Well, I'm known to be Dorinda Medley, you know that.
I have to ask, let's go into this because the psychology behind what's going on with Bethenny and Carole is interesting. So I'm going to give you my 2 cents.
Okay.
Besides, her losing her to Tiffany. I mean, what's her name? What's that fluffy girl's name? Tinsley.
But she didn't. That's the first thing that's not true.
Really?
She really didn't. You got to remember, Carole introduced Tinsley to Carole's friend Scott. So it would be like you introducing a girlfriend to your husband's good friend. Then all of a sudden, you're kind of doing stuff to keep it together. It's not like they spent every waking moment together,
But they have bonded. There's always
but
allies.
So what? I mean, I have friends from so many different faces and places and, that don't even know each other. And I don't think friendship's exclusive.
I don't either, but it's a noticeable comparison from other seasons that Carole and Bethenny are not. I mean, you guys have even said it.
Both there's faults. I mean, it takes,
Oh, for sure.
So I don't know. The question really is, maybe both sides weren't making as much of an effort. Friendship shift, but there was no cataclysmic.
I think it was a pile-on. I think it was, her hearing about Adam, and then it was on top of that the next thing, and then the next thing, and it just kind of the accumulation took Bethenny over the edge because not having one big giant thing made it actually a little bit more muddy.
Well, that's what's so funny because I have one big giant thing with Luann tonight, and we're gonna. I pray, I'm wishing Luann all the best. I'm sure we'll work through it. I pray to God, but I think that yes, I think that's right. I think what I wish had happened, and then I don't want to go into it too much because I don't want to get 20 calls from each of them. There needed to be a sit down and just say, what's going on? Why aren't we connecting? Because that's sometimes what you need. Please tell me I love you. What's going on? Instead, there was a lot of dancing.
You mean between Bethenny and Carole?
Yeah, there was a lot of dancing
they tried
around.
That. Do you remember? And
They
Bethenny
did, and then-
did a lot of defense.
But that's what I'm saying. Everybody needed to put their swords down and keep them down. It's one thing when you put your sword down and then someone picks it up again. There comes a point where you say, my friendship is bigger than if I'm going to win.
Correct. Now, you talked about tonight because I did hear there's a big explosion tonight.
Yep.
You want to get ahead of it and maybe defend your point?
Yeah, I don't think I need to get ahead of it. I just think that, I've been friends with Luann for a very long time, and I've been, listen, I've never called her a whore or a tramp of this. I've been through the thick. I defended Tom to the point where I was called a village idiot. I've always tried to be there in all ways, and I just was sort of taken aback that she came out. She gave me this loaded question, and I was like, me? You're asking me this? So I also...
She triggered you.
She triggered me, and I trigger, and I regret it because, I love her. I probably also didn't understand. It's hard to understand when people are going through stuff. If you don't understand it wholly, maybe you're not as sensitive to it as you should be. So I probably wasn't as sensitive. I apologize 5 billion times.
You have?
Yeah.
Did she accept your apology?
No.
Oh.
It's okay. And listen, I didn't do it. It was a moment. We've had so many years together. We've had 10, 12 years together.
So you trust that it will all work out?
If it does, it does. If it doesn't, at some point, you know what? You have to put it on the shelf and let it work itself out. And sometimes friendships need a little
breathing
reboot.
room. Yes.
She was going through something, and I was going through something. Last year, as I was very honest on the plane, I was lost. I was like, I always think of that famous Dr. Seuss, when he blows the and all the, I had nowhere to land.
This is the episode where Bethenny called you an alcoholic on a plane.
Yes, well, that's right. And I was like, for one night, I was in Miami, and you're going to make this sweeping statement, which I found bizarre because she was drinking with me.
Right.
So my whole thing is, if you think I'm that person, then
why are you enabling me?
Why are you enabling me? If you run these, women in crisis, if I was But I actually don't think she meant that. And I think you're going to see that. She actually meant, I think it got lost in translation. I really do. Not that I'm being forgiving of Bethenny, but I do think she realized in retrospect that she was too harsh. I hope.
Do you think that, because by watching it, it almost looked like a setup a little bit? Because... she day drinked with you, and she knew there was an important dinner.
Well, I didn't. I mean, everyone claims I knew the dinner. I have my schedule. I didn't know about the dinner. Listen, I landed in Puerto Rico.
That's why I think it was a setup.
I landed in Puerto Rico. I waited and waited for her. She was checking out of her hotel, and I waited and waited. Then she came, and we did this whole thing. And then I went to bed and ordered room service, thinking, because we had to get up to be on this private plane at 6 to go to Puerto Rico. So I don't have it in my schedule. It doesn't matter. It's semantics. I just think that it was a mistake. I'm sorry. I got drunk in Miami. It'll never happen again.
You don't think it was somewhat?
Yeah, but you know what? I don't want. I'm not about going backwards. I really just think.
What did you feel though?
I was
when
heartbroken.
Yes, exactly.
I was heartbroken because here's the thing that sometimes I don't think she gets. I'm a mother too. I'm trying to build a successful, and I'm not that person. How would I raise a beautiful daughter and have beautiful and healthy relationships and be up every day at 6 and to make these big, and it's not the first time, to make these big sweeping statements about someone's character, even if God forbid it were true, is emotionally devastating.
Yeah, and could be debilitating in your career.
Yes. So once again, and I'm like, and listen, let me inform you, everyone. They all drink, except for Carole. Carole, they all drink. And I think to myself, what if I called you out on something? Oh, my God. I just don't do that. I'm sort of like, oh, well, you had a bad night. Keep it moving.
Okay, so why doesn't anyone hold Bethenny accountable? That is a biggie. You just talked about, how it could affect your daughter, your job.
Yeah.
Why doesn't anyone hold Bethenny accountable? That was unacceptable.
Yeah, well,
How dare you do that?
I think they did, and I think the audience was not happy with it.
The audience, you. I'm talking about, because I'm in therapy for codependence. So I tend to go I'll brush it aside.
I think you're going to see that as the season. I think it creates. Here, listen. I think with friendships, and I don't want to, focus on Bethenny, just overall on friendships, you create a circle of trust, and we all appreciate when our girlfriends are critical sometimes, and which helps you, but we don't like to be judged, and we don't want that gotcha journalism. You know,
Right.
if you make a mistake in front of a friend and you feel, which we've all done, you want that person to say, "Hey, can I talk to you for a
Off
second?"
camera.
Yeah, I'm worried a little bit. So
For it to happen on camera,
it creates a distance, and I think that's what's happened with a lot of girls. I don't know if anybody will ever lower themselves to be playing the same game, but I do think it probably at some level creates a distance, because you're once bitten, twice shy.
of course.
You know?
I mean, that's why I think she's standing alone on this island right now.
Yeah, I mean, she's and I think you're just much more aware. When Bethenny's great, she's fantastic. That's the
Don't
thing.
get me wrong. It makes great TV.
Yes.
She's smart. She's
Very.
quick, almost too quick. But to me, I think she's like a bear that anyone is scared to poke. I mean, once in a while.
I don't know if they're afraid. I just think there's sometimes we're all at a point in our life where it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. Everybody can argue, but at what level do you want to argue at? You were taught to what. I said to my mother one day.
But you yelled at Sonja
Yes.
harder
Yes.
than you did Bethenny.
Yes, I did.
And to me, that was
Well, I'll be honest with you.
Mhm.
I thought on the plane, as I think Bethany did, that she said you were in drunk. I didn't realize till I watched it that she said you were a drunk, and that you'll maybe see that at some point.
Got it.
So I had to watch it like 3 or 4 times and say, "Are you kidding me?"
Right. That's what the audience picked up.
Yes. So, and I've had this ongoing thing with Sonja. We trigger each other, and it's really kind of sad because I like Sonja, and we should be getting along.
Do you find it, though, when that happens to me in my own life with my friends, I find out where I mirror them because I'm big on mirroring. Do you see the mirror with you and Sonja?
No.
Okay, that she brings up her
No,
past.
because it's not at all the same to me. I've done both. I've been divorced, and strangely, I got divorced about the same time Sonja got divorced, which was like 13 years ago.
And let me just tell you, if I lost the love of my life, I'd be talking about him every
yeah,
fucking
I mean, if
day of my
God
life.
forbid you lost your husband,
Every day. I'd have a tattoo of Donnie on my forehead.
Yeah. And when you lose someone, it really is just it's I definitely believe you bury a tiny bit of your heart
For sure.
the day you do that. So you live on, and my mother said, "Listen, you're so lucky. Everybody has a time and place, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Unfortunately, yours was sooner, but still, you're like even like the other day. I'll be honest with you, I was in the Berkshires. He loved rainbows.
Oh.
I love them. I used to say to the kids, "Oh my God, the rainbows!" And the kids would all run out and they'd chase the rainbow, and I'd be like, "There's nothing." "Not really, Mom." And I was outside at the pool, and it got dark, and then it got light, and there was a rainbow. And for a moment, I was like, "Okay, I got to go inside because I'm going to cry." I'm like, "Hey, Richard, thanks.
Oh.
You're here." So you're always going to have those moments. It doesn't define me.
No.
I appreciate every second. I think actually, if Richard Medley saw me today, he wouldn't recognize me. To tell you the truth.
I think it's so sweet.
Yeah,
how your connection is still
He'd
so
be like,
alive.
"Who are you?" Because I was a very dependent.
Well, that's the
It's-
vulnerability that you showed on the plane of like, you know what? I'm scared of being alone. I've never done this
Yeah.
myself. Do you know how many women can relate to that?
Yes, and I really liked being Mrs. Medley. It suited me. I love the whole thing. I remember Richard said to me, and people are going to freak out to know this side of me after we got married. He's like, "Listen, I'd appreciate one thing, you can do whatever, you can da-da-da, but at night, I'd really like you to have dinner with me every night at 7. And kind of don't plan your nights out." I was like, "No problem for me. I love that."
Oh.
Because I was in that time of my life. My daughter was young. His kids were young.
Yep.
I was in that family mode mentality.
Exactly.
So for me, I was like, "This is perfect." It worked.
How long were you guys married?
We got married in 2005, and he died in 2011, but we were together 2 years before that.
Oh, God bless you. I want to ask you quickly about Colombia. Do you guys almost die?
That was the worst trip. Yes. Well, if things had gone differently, it was one of those things that could have gone either way. And everything you see on the show is 100% real. It was so scary. I was traumatized. I mean, it was... I couldn't believe it.
I mean, especially with all these boat accidents that
It
we're
wasn't
hearing.
even that. The anchor went off. Thank God this person with a knife came up. And if it had been a metal anchor that went off the boat, we would have capsized. But they cut it off the boat, so we were able to get back our equilibrium.
What was going through your mind when this was happening?
I was trying to find life jackets. I couldn't find any life jackets. I found 3. Ramona's like, Dorinda, I can't swim. I'm like, well, you're going to have to figure this out because we're going over. I said to her at one point, and you're going to have to grab onto me and don't fight it. I mean, Sonja was peeing herself. People were throwing up. The alarms are going off. There's smoke. We smell smoke.
And how long are you guys suffering for like this?
Yeah, I don't, these things seem like hours. It was probably minutes. But there was a time where the furniture was flying off the boat.
See, that's when I would have thrown Bethenny over.
Stop.
I'd be the evil housewife. Oh, it's my perfect opportunity. That's what you get, bitch, for calling me a fucking traitor. No, but in all seriousness, I remember Bravo made a statement that said, no, it's kind of exaggerated. It was real.
It was tough. It was tough. I mean, listen, you only, in the moment, you have to keep, Tinsley's like, oh, it's nothing. It was, alarms were going on. We smell smoke. A guy was with a knife. We're like, oh my God, I'm trying to find life jackets. People are just, I don't know how bad it actually was, but at the time, it was not good.
But you all are fine.
Yeah, we're fine. We ended up, coming back. I think we all ended up a little traumatized.
But did you maybe wind up a little bit closer because of it? No.
I don't know. I think it takes more than a death-defying boat ride to do all that. No. Listen, the great thing about this group, and that's what's so great about the reunion.
Oh, I can't wait.
Is, we do try to find resolution.
You do.
We do try to. We are a group that we let bygones be bygones. I don't know how we do it. When you see at the end of the season who ends up being the best friends and things, you're like, wait a second.
Right? It's always
and
fascinating.
It happens every year.
And
it's not
city.
fake, by the way. You're like, you're doing what together?
It's literally like Survivor. Like allies are formed. And then, unfortunately, I think Sonja was the only one that was on Bethenny's side.
Yes.
And was it all on, were all eyes on her attacking Bethenny? I would imagine.
Was all eyes on what?
I mean, was everyone attacking? Was Bethenny the one that you guys really pointed out this season in the reunion?
I pointed out, I think we all just brought up questions are asked, a lot of them by the audience, and we answered them, and a lot of them were concerning, the relationship that Bethenny has or doesn't have.
Is she able to take accountability?
Yeah, Bethenny is good. Accountability, I don't know if it's accountability. She's able to relook at it. I think that Bethenny doesn't think she's done anything wrong.
That's not taking accountability.
Yeah. I think she looks at it in one way. And we all have to learn this lesson, Jenny, that sometimes it is more valuable not to be right.
100%.
I always say when people say, what is the best advice you can give about a relationship or marriage? It's like, sometimes you just have to use humility to get through it. Say,
my
what,
favorite
baby,
line
you're right.
Is defense is the first act of war.
Yes.
And if you don't want to be right, just let it go.
That's it.
But I don't know if Bethenny she does need to be right and needs to be the last one to finish a sentence, but I don't know if she'll ever get to that place where she can take accountability.
Well, then that comes with consequences.
That leads me back to, has anyone given her any?
Has anyone given her? I think we talked through stuff. The one thing I have to say is at the reunion, she will answer certain things honestly, and you will see that glimmer of light. I wish there were more. I would love to see next season a sort of, a reset.
Yeah.
Because I think we were all heartbroken at some level that the relation. I know Bethenny thought that some people were happy that that Carole and her were breaking up. I think she said about Ramona at one point, "You're just basking in the fact that Carole and I are fighting." Really, no. It's painful.
It did feel like the elephant was in the room and brooding dinners.
Carole is truly, I have to say, a ride or die friend. She's not just saying that. I'm quite close to her. She gives solid advice. Just because she's not talking all the time doesn't mean that she's in agreement with what you're saying. She's a thinker. She's an academic. She's like my late husband. I said if Richard Medley had met Carole Radziwill, I would have been out of the picture.
Do you think, though, Bethenny is jealous of Carole in some ways? Because she's smart. She dresses amazing. There's a lot. She's got old money, not new money, and there's that big difference.
I think that there's a lot. It's funny to watch sometimes Carole get criticized for things that I actually see them both do.
That's what I mean about mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
right?
oh my God, you're trying to act young. Well, they're both trying to, I mean, Carol's not trying to act young, but you're both dressing young. I mean,
Yes.
there's these dresses and the boobs and the this and the
Totally.
that. So they...
So maybe there's a little competition, like maybe there's with every friend.
I don't know. I just, we're, to tell you the truth, Jenny, I'm not avoiding the question. We all are bewildered by it. We didn't know. I would have never have expected to go into the season with this happening. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
You just don't know. I actually knew that and I often have thought about this after the fact. I knew that I was going to get closer to Carole. The only reason I say that is because after living in London for 10 years, I sort of treat relationships like an onion. You have to peel them slowly.
Yeah.
I don't need a fast friend.
Yeah.
And I saw over the years that we just had more and more in common. And I don't really, I'm a bit of a loner. People would not believe that. But when I'm with
That's
people,
why
I love
like
them. Yeah, but when I'm not, so I don't hang out with anybody. And I have friends from all walks of life, all shapes and sizes. And so for me, I don't have that need to covet people. And I think just all the relationships, I think it freaked her out. Bethenny a little bit, that she was maybe close to me, and she didn't have as much access.
Right. She didn't have a homie. Like everyone needs one wingman in the show.
Yeah.
Sonja really was on her own for a little bit, and now it was Bethenny, and I think Bethenny could not handle it. This is a crisis. That hashtag is actually her life.
Yeah. I mean, I think that everybody's got a lot of healing to do next year. I do hope, I want us to go back to the fun group, but I don't want all the darkness anyway.
I know.
It doesn't, it's not like it's fun for us. It's sad to see.
I bet. I mean, Luann, it's really sad.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. Actually, I was thinking about it last week and taking a walk. I'm like, I really want to go back there and let's get back to the fun. Let's get back to when we used to laugh and make asses out of ourselves.
Right? Go to your house and have a great
not be
time.
So critical of what everyone's doing, because otherwise it would become stunted.
Do you think that the Luann's issues, can we blame it all on Tom?
No, sorry about that. No, I don't think you can blame it all on Tom. I mean, it was so short. It
could have been maybe the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in Luann's life. And I really wish that and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, I'm so proud of her for this cabaret thing, but maybe it was a little too much too soon.
Yeah.
It's not a healthy environment. I wanted her to sort of continue her yoga training and then maybe go back in August.
Exactly.
But it's, 21 days is not that long. So, she needed, I think it would have been better for her if she'd been in an environment that was more healthy.
Exactly.
These cabarets they're great, and she was hugely successful. But remember, it's late night. It's drinking. It's people that want to stay out late.
It's like a stand-up
And
comedian trying to be sober.
It's hard for any of us.
Have you gone to the show?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
This is the last person. I mean, she lived a full life. Watching her biography and everything, I'm like, damn, this is the last person, the Countess, that I would think would have an ending like this. And I don't want to call it an ending. A new beginning. It's because she's going to start over. But the way she spiraled was very shocking.
Well, again, I think that,
Is it fame?
Oh my God! I don't. It's so hard because she's. We don't.
And this is
we
just
don't
your
know
perception.
anything.
It's all on.
I think that this life we live, it's so easy to keep saying it's fine, right. I'm fantastic, and then shutting the door and being like, I'm not fantastic,
right.
I'm not doing great. But we're all trying to keep up, and I think a lot of times for me, I just have to be honest about it and let that way. Once you give it away, it becomes everyone's problem.
That's right.
And I think maybe it all got ahead of her too soon. It was a lot. She got out and she started this cabaret right away. She threw herself back in the show right away. She literally got out of this 21-day thing and was filming the next week.
That's too much.
And in the cabaret rehearsals the next week.
That's too much.
I mean, I wish she had stayed like 2 months.
Yes. And you have no idea if she's sober now?
We know nothing.
Wow.
We know nothing. She didn't come to the reunion. We know nothing.
Bethenny spoke on behalf of her. Is that because Bethenny is good at finding the wounded bird?
I mean, that one surprised me. that one threw me.
It surprised me too.
Yeah.
It did. I was like, oh my God.
Listen, all I want is that Luann to do whatever she's doing, do the best she can. She's a wonderful girl. She, and just get back to us. We miss her.
I agree.
And
And you
we
guys,
miss her.
hands down, when I talk to all my girls, like Erin M from Reality T, we love New York the most.
Yeah, I love New York the most.
I do too. You guys are just the most authentic, and like you said, you can work through anything and get back and resolve.
Yes. There's never.
No, you give our friendships, our real friendships,
There's
that
always
we watch,
yes.
hope. The Real Housewives of New York tonight at 9 o'clock on Bravo. You guys can dress like Dorinda, support charities, threadsup.com. And I adore you. Let's
Aw,
have
thank
lunch,
you.
my treat.
Yes. Oh, I'd love that.
I
Then
love
we're
it.
going to Cipriani, the very expensive place.
Cipriani! Woo!
No, okay.
You're so funny. I love you so much. Send my love to John and Hannah.
I will, and you too. Big kiss to everyone. I want to come out and visit you one time.
I would love
I
it.
love Chicago. Do you know that?
No.
I love Chicago. It reminds me of a mini London.
I agree. Just
It's
the people are so
They're
nice.
so
the food
nice.
is great.
The visuals are very pleasing.
And we love to drink. No one is accused of being an alcoholic.
God.
Because we all drink a lot.
Good.
Thanks, Dorinda Medley. I love you.
Big kiss.
Jenny McCarthy Show. Oh!